Hi, and welcome back to the episode of The History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today, finally get to the very important episode that a lot of people have been finally waiting for, is the remaining of the top 30 animes of the 1980s. And today, we're going to cover the last year, 1989, and we're going to go over some of the titles in that one. And then once we finish, we will then have completed our top 30. So it's really good. It's really good and exciting that we're going to finally get to finally complete this and make the list. Now, there's lots of titles on there. It's only a top 30, and there's already a good number of titles. So there could be a quick big mix-up in the current number of titles on there. So it's definitely going to be challenging because there's a good number of movies and OVAs that come out in this year. So it's very good. So before I begin actually going through the titles, again, I want to remind people to go down below, click like, click subscribe. That definitely does help the algorithm. Just if you could just at least leave that, and leave a comment about a particular video, that'd be really great. It really just helps YouTube algorithm work. If you also want to support me financially, I also have the super thanks button activated, as well as the PayPal and Patreon links down below. Again, that really does help out. I really appreciate that. I got some extra episodes coming out. Once I get the anime giveaway taken out, also that gives you for all the sponsors and also the people who are all subscribers, you get first pick on the anime giveaways. And I'm still doing number 5 right at this present moment. So again, if you haven't had a look at that, do check it out. Right. So today's topic is the final completion of the top 30 for 1980. So again, I've already gone through every single year and broken down all the significant titles in both TV series, movies, and OVAs. And now I've gone through every single year and taking those titles and basically making a top 30 and basically swapping the titles in and out all throughout. And now we're finally down to the last year, 1989. Once I complete this one, we'll have that list there. So this is really, exciting to get the, finally done all that. And after maybe we complete that, I'll continue on to next year and see what we got. Okay, but right now, let's concentrate on 1989. Okay, so without further delay, let's begin. Okay, so we bring up the charts here. On the left-hand side, we have the top 30. For the 1980s, so I'll list it out there for you. I've broken it into different columns: the TV series, the OVAs, and the movies. So we got 30 titles in each one, and that's so far of what we've compiled, going from 1980 all the way to 1988. Okay, again, you look at the previous episodes in my anime database below. You get the links for those if you want to actually go through and look at what I've done when I went through each and every single year for the my anime database, as well as going through each of the years to actually, build this list. Okay, so now we're at 1989, and we can look at the chart on the right-hand side, where I've compiled all the significant shows from the My Anime list and put it into a chart. So for 1989, we have 12 significant TV shows, 56 OVAs, and 14 movies. So obviously, this being a top 30, this could very well significantly change everything that's on the list, right? So, this is going to requires quite a bit of work to kind of go through that. So, we're going to have to go through all the titles and do the thing. So this is going to be quite exciting. Okay, so I'll do the movies in this particular episode. So I'll draw your attention to the chart on the right-hand side and the rightmost column, which is the movies for 1989. And let's quickly go through them really quickly here. So we have Saint Seiya the movie, featuring the Lucifer plot. We have Venus Wars, so the guy who brought you Crusher Joe now brings out Venus Wars. The well-anticipated 5-star stories, which the magazine New Type really heavily pushed. So that one was a really exciting one for me. We also have Anime Sangoshi, which people refer to as maybe Artemis, or the Three Musketeers kind of story, really popular in Europe and that kind of stuff there. We have Utsuno Miko the movie. We have the first City Hunter movie, City Hunter: The Magnum Love's Destination. That was really a big hit there. We have Yotoden the movie. So again, the Yotoden 1, 2, and 3 OVAs put together into a movie format. We have Karura Mao, Ultraman USA. We have Kiki's Delivery Service, the next Studio Ghibli installment, very popular. We have the Dragon Ball first movie. We have Patlabor first movie, and we have Little Nemo, and last one we have is Gadua. Okay, so let's see how these movies fit into our top 30 and see what stays and what goes. Okay, so we'll start with the really easy ones first. All right, we're gonna start with the basically ads that are already in the list already, so that doesn't require too much work on my part to do anything with it. Okay, so first one obviously is the Saint Seiya Lucifer. Saint Seiya is already listed on the TV chart. Okay, so we will just add this movie to the Saint Seiya those movies. So that's already there. Likewise with City Hunter, City Hunter already has many TV shows as well as OVAs coming out at this time. So again, we can add that to that franchise. That's listed also in the TV series section there. So that's another easy one there. Yotoden, the movie, again, this movie version of Yotoden is the compilation of the 1, 2, 3 put together into like movie format, okay? And Yotoden's already listed in the OVAs right now. So again, I won't repeat that one, so we'll add that to that franchise. Dragon Ball, the movie is an extension of the TV series there. So again, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. The movies and the OVAs are all listed in the TV section. So again, that franchise is represented in the TV section. And the last one is, of course, Patlabor the movie. So as epic the movie was, which was really, really good. I mean, Mamoru Marushi's kind of stuff is really, a lot of people didn't understand it, but it was very, intricately written in this way. And the animation was really, really good for it too. Patlabor is already listed in the TV series section, so we'll again add Patlabor to that section because they released the OVAs first, then the TV series. Now, of course, the movie to add to that. So those are the easy ones. That'll take care of Saint Seiya, City Hunter, Yotoden, Dragon Ball, and Patlabor. All right, the next part I'm going to do is going to be basically the shoe-ins. Definitely the titles of most notable note that isn't already included on the list. It's going to be obviously Venus Wars, 5-Star Stories, and Kiki's Delivery Service. So, to do this part, I basically have to go onto this top 30 list I've got already built and see what are the lowest titles on this list that would have to go or leave in order to fit these three in. And it's not hard at this present moment. I'd have to go with Barefoot Gen, Lock to Superman, Future War 1980X, and Cyborg 009. Now, knowing this, I'd also have to consider what else would I go below that, because obviously the next couple there's going to be after the absolute shoo-ins, I'm going to have to determine what else comes in afterwards. The last titles on this list would be probably things like Twilight of the Cockroaches, Space Cobra, Goshigun, and Sherlock Hound. But I think those ones will still have some significance, so they'll probably stay on the list. So, what do we got here? So we'll look at the comparison here. So Venus Wars, obviously, Duke brought you Crusher Joe and the OVAs. Definitely, this new rendition of the kind of movie. Arion is another one that comes to mind right away. And so definitely lots of popular artists. So definitely it should go in. It could easily be better, against any of these top four that I've got, or the bottom four that I've got here. So, so that's definitely going to go in. And I'll just, for the sake of it, I will probably remove Barefoot Gen first. Okay. The next one is obviously 5-Star Stories. Now, this one was, again, I've already mentioned it before a lot in many of my episodes. 5-Star Stories on how, like, for example, New Type magazine was just constantly pushing this. But I mean, I remember I was really, really hot on the tail of getting the mangas and that kind of stuff for this when it first came out, because I was so excited. The whole concept of 5-star stories and how the pentagonal constellation was going to have somehow tie in all this stuff together was going to be was really exciting to me, right? So the artwork and that kind of stuff is really exciting, and the production work of the movie is really big too. Now again, I can't show you any movie video of this particular, because this one of those titles that is really, really extremely clamped down on YouTube. So it's really tough to find any said movie videos for that. But definitely, it was one of the titles I was really happy to do the fan sub for, and definitely worth watch. So if I had to put this in, it definitely does belong on the list, and I'll remove Lock to Superman for that one. Okay. And the last entry that is a for sure shoe-in is obviously the Studio Ghibli title, Kiki's Delivery Service. Again, very fun movie. We featured it quite a lot of times at our Douglas College, showcase meetings, and very, very well received. A nice, delightful movie. So definitely that goes on the list. If I had to put it on the list to replace something, I will probably then remove Future War 1980X. I mean, I thought that was a really good movie, but again, without the translation, I mean, you can still understand the movie, because I mean, it's modern day, Cold War type of stuff, and very possible outcome type of thing, right? So it didn't really require translation, but it was kind of a neat way to kind of first you see that kind of thing. But again, without the translation, that it did definitely suffer because of that. But yeah, definitely, Kiki's Delivery Service definitely does belong in there, so I'll remove that one. So those are the definite shoo-ins. So that will take care of Venus Wars, 5-star stories, and Kiki's Delivery Service. So definitely do check those ones out if you haven't ever seen any of those. All right, so now the sort of slightly easy parts of the West here. Now we just take a look at these last few titles that we have here. We have Little Nemo, Ultraman USA, and Garuga. And as you guys determine, well, should any of these ones fit into the the chart? So basically, we're looking at basically the bottom feeders here. And so look now the the new list and say, okay, well, what do we got? We got Sherlock Hound, Go Shogun, Twilight of the Cockroaches. I think all those, even if I take them in an order here, and compare it to, let's say, Garuga, okay. I mean, was a pretty sort of neat movie. Has a good premise to it. But I think it was very well executed. Same thing with Garuga. I mean, that show was like all over the place. I mean, it got a U.S. release, but really, it's not on the same playing field as a lot of those other ones. So, because of that, none of those would make the list. If I keep looking, and then I'd have to compare it against, let's say, Cyborg 09 or Space Cobra. These are damn shows again that have, high recognizability, right? It was still very, very popular, within the circles and the trading and that kind of stuff. All these have names which have a much bigger pull, especially in other things, such as manga and whatnot, than these ones here. So for that situation, no, I don't think any of these three would make the list and be able to dethrone any of the other the titles on the coming in from the bottom. So yeah, I'd say Little Nemo, Ultraman USA, and Garuga would not make the list. Now Ultraman, I know is a popular sort of franchise, and if I looked at it in terms of franchise view, should it get any representation? I would still argue no. I mean, you look at the other ones like that. I think it just has a much broader appeal. You see, Ultraman, again, is not the same sort of ranking that I would put things like Astro Boy, Kimba, and things like that. Is because, sure, there are some, old retro type of, people who got into anime, in that era and that kind of thing. Same thing with Ultraman. They have gotten into this Japanese things because of the show. But you know, if I had any of those titles in there, I would probably maybe give that the extra little push for Ultraman, but I don't. So these are titles that have had a general and more broader appeal in the anime community in general, and so that's why I think that I will not put in Ultraman USA for that particular reason. And then of course the last titles that are on the list, anime Sengoshi, Utsuno Miko, and Kaoru Mao. Again, these ones are a little tougher because these ones I would feel that they have more pull. Okay, I mean, Utsuno Miko was actually really really popular because it had a fan sub and everything for that. But again, it's didn't get that until much later in the 90s. Okay. And then got the appeal at that time. So just like Enemies, Pirates, and that kind of stuff, it didn't get its fame and that kind of stuff and its following until much later. And because of that, that's why I'm leaving that one out of the list. Sangoshi, had its appeal, especially in Europe and that kind of stuff, even on the French channel, if I remember right. But again, this had, this one would have problems with that kind of stuff because it would fall in the same, categories. So things like Cat's Eye and Lupin and that kind of stuff. At least in terms of the international success. If it at least had some, following on with English, subtitles or some sort of English release, then it might be able to surpass a title like Cyborg 09, for example. But without that, it really doesn't belong on the list. And then of course Kaoru Mao. I remember trading this one in straight Japanese. Again, this suffers with the same problem that again it didn't get any translation and that kind of for it until way much later in time, and was basically stepped over and basically forgotten about for a long period of time until literally the late 90s, probably I'd even say the 2000s before it actually got any consideration. So again, something that just didn't hold its didn't hold its test of time in a timely manner, shall we say. So again, so I would not put that on the list again. So we'll put saying that basically finalizes and the movies for 1989. And that basically will give you your top 30. All right. So that was the tough thing, to do, and we'll have to continue on when we go into the 90s. All right, so here we have now a good completed list. This is probably one of the most sort of comprehensive list that actually looks into each of the different titles and that kind of stuff, and not a list just built out of favoritism and titles that just personal tastes and that kind of stuff. I tried to be more objective and look at how these values and that kind of stuff on this list. So, anyway, we will continue on the next video when we get more of these videos done. All right. So until next time, I will see you again.